Good morning, natural gas. It's Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. And for the spot July natural gas contract, we're currently trading at 322.90, up 4.5 cents here, or a little bit over 1.4%. And as you can see here, the RSI is trying to turn to the upside. The 13 and 48 period moving averages just moving sideways. We've been sideways basically since June the 8th. And remember, July goes off the board on Friday. Option expiration is tomorrow, Thursday. And it looks like we're going to have to pick a strike here for the option expiration. Maybe it's 3.25. We'll see. The open interest is highest at the 350 level. Let's turn to the hourly chart. And as you can see right now, we started to pop a little higher here on the RSI. We got briefly below the pivot for the day, which came in at 322.20. And as you can see right now, we're pushing back out, maybe getting up to first resistance at 327.20. We only have a little bit of time left, and we've got the July 4th holiday weekend coming up. So that's putting some pressure here on the board in the last day or so. But take a look at the temperatures. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook is above normal for Chicago. Welcome to summer, Chicago. And as you can see, it's still well above normal here across Texas and Florida here going forward. And through the this is through the 7th here. This will take us through the July 4th weekend. Let's take a look at the ERCOT here. And as you can see right now, ERCOT today, we're going to have over 46,000 megawatts here for potential renewable load out of 82,000. That's our system-wide demand peak this afternoon in ERCOT. But natural gas right now holding about 38% of the fuel mix here, over 23,000 megawatts. Let's take a look at the national picture for power. And as you can see, we've kind of gotten some spikes this morning. It's strangely enough in SPP, which popped up to 121, and CalSO over in California here, almost $100. But let's take a look at one other tab here on grid status, and that's renewables. This is what's important here, because renewables in ERCOT, you can see right now, ERCOT for renewable generation, almost 31,000 megawatts, and that's 47.3% of the fuel mix. That's right. You can track how much of the fuel mix is in each of these ISOs. So CalSO right now, as you can see, 36.1%. Over here for SPP right now, 27.1%. So this is the story. Natural gas needs to really have much higher demand in order for it to pick up market share, because renewables are picking up over 40% of the load right now. And that's in ERCOT. So let's take a look at the front to back spreads. This is Jan versus October here. This is one of the injection spreads. And as you can see, we're just waffling here below 125. We're currently right now at 118, down 1.5 cents. The RSI is just going sideways right now. This says doesn't know what to do here, doesn't know whether or not Super El Nino is going to just be extremely warm winter for the northern part of the United States. But remember, during El Ninos, you can get polar vortex disruptions, which can pull very cold Arctic air straight down into the country. So be careful here. The market is getting very, very complacent. And let's take a look at the Novi through March strip as a whole here. And as you can see right now, we're up just 3.2 cents here. RSI is trying to turn to the upside. So some bargain hunting coming in here for the winter strip. It is still below that 384.10. That was our support level. Now it's resistance. And let's take a look at the weather models here. And this is the European model here for the heat indexes. Okay, so be careful here. This is going to show heat and humidity. And as you can see, it's been warm across the south here and, of course, into the desert south. As we move forward into the forecast period here, you can start seeing 99s, hundreds here, triple digits, as you start to see warm temperatures, Texas, Oklahoma, going up into Kansas, Nebraska, and then pushing east here as we get into the July 4th period. This is July the 2nd. You can start seeing heat index in Chicago, 102. You can start seeing Georgia here, Atlanta, Georgia, 106. Dallas, 97, actually cooler. So that's what's strange there. Here is the July the 3rd. and then we pop off into July the 4th here. Not too bad. Again, it is cool in New York to Boston. This is really not warm yet for that period, for that area, excuse me, but it is going to start getting warmer as we get into July. As you can see here, this is July the 4th here, and this is very, very warm here across the southeast. Let's take a look at the heat indexes. As you can see right now, extreme heat indexes, 170,000 here. As we start moving through the forecast period, 139. This is mainly in Texas, parts of Florida here. As we move into Saturday, over 2.1 million people are in extreme heat risk, mainly again, Texas and Florida. Now you start to see some very warm temperatures moving straight up toward Minnesota. And that's getting over 5 million people here. Now 6.9 million people in extreme heat risk. And this is Tuesday as we get into the last day of the month here. 13.8 million people under extreme heat risk. 120.5 million people for major heat risk. So the marketplace is saying, yes, I've got July 4th weekend coming up, but the weather's saying, here comes summer. Let's take a look at Europe, and summer has arrived for France. As you can see, it is undergoing some record heat load here. As you can tell, it stays in there for the next few days and then starts to push east over into Germany, into Ukraine, Poland. This is starting to push out toward July the 1st right here. They finally get a little bit of relief, and then you start seeing some warm coming back in around the 6th here, but mainly in Eastern Europe. And they could desperately use some cooler temperatures. The EU as a whole is only 47% full, but we've got some problem children out here. Let's take a look at Belgium. That's right, here Belgium is only 22.1% full right now. Last year, almost 80% full. And as you can see, we're at near minimal levels here in storage. Let's take a look at our real big problem here. Netherlands is also the same, 23.7% full. It is a new minimal low. And here's the one that really kind of gets me. Great Britain, it is at a new minimal low. Here it is 18.3% full. So we've got our problem children across the EU. It is still 47% full, but the masking of some of these problem countries here says that they're going to be in trouble come fall if Qatar is still down. And here is Asia. And as you can see right now, we've got some modest weather here going forward. This is the temperature anomaly map. Again, the European model here. It does say this is mixed picture here as we go all the way through into July the 9th here. Some warmer temperatures start showing up very late in the period. Let's take a look at US LNG. This is Cameron. This is at 1.452. It is running about 93% utilization here. That's good news. Freeport running about 1.8 BCF. That's about stable here. Here is Creole Trail feeding Sabine Pass, 1.57 out of 1.7. So that's doing about 92.5% capacity utilization. And here is Corpus Christi. There is compressor work again at the Sinton compressor station, Sinton, and that is affecting 300,000 MMBTUs for 16 hours. So as you can see, there is some capacity utilization open, but that's because there's compressor work. Let's take a look at Venture Global here. This is Calcasieu Pass. Yep, it still has some open capacity. This is Plaquemines, and it also has some capacity open here. For the first time in several weeks, we're running below nameplate capacity. And let's take a look at Golden Pass. It's finally over 500,000 MMBTUs again. This is good news as it came out of maintenance following its first 2 cargoes. Again, we've got a ship coming in. That is good news for Golden Pass. And let's take a look at the tropics. And there's nothing to look at in the mid-Atlantic. Right now, there's quiet across Panama, quiet around the Yucatan. There is some storm systems here around the Bay of Campeche, but that is moving inland. And for the mid-Atlantic, you guessed it, Saharan air layer. It is going to just keep everything just knocked down if it tries to develop coming off the coast of Africa. Right now, this dust is coming into, you guessed it, Houston right here. So it's going to make for some nice sunsets, but it's going to keep people with allergies really upset. And let's take a look at the stocks. Unfortunately, it's a sea of red. This is the oil and gas E&P sector. Stocks between $2 and $10 billion have a high short float over 10%. And yes, we've got data center demand kicking in really hard. Well, here we go. We got an update now. CNX and CRK finally going back into the positive with natural gas. But unfortunately, that demand for data centers kicks in 2027. So let's see if we can catch a bid for natural gas stocks later in the season. And again, recapping here, the July natural gas contract is currently trading at 3.23.3, up 4.9 cents here, just a little bit over 1.5%. Again, tomorrow is option expiration. Good open interest at 3.25. And again, the highest open interest at 350. Do we have enough oomph to get there? I don't know. But for Friday, be careful because it's going to be very light and it's going to be very warm on the forecast model. So again, Friday is future expiration for the July contract. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.